Hello, music lovers and conversationalists. Welcome to another episode of Friday Firsts, and this time it is a Saturday edition. Last night, my sinuses were bothering me and allergies, and I was in a coughing fit anytime I tried to record the video, and it really was not of good quality, and it was just not a pleasant experience, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to see me having a coughing fit every 2 seconds when I tried to talk. And plus, I was tongue tied, so really hit the jackpot last night when it was time to record. But hopefully, all the kinks have been worked out tonight, and it'll be a smooth recording for a Friday first on a Saturday. And tonight, I'm excited to share with you an artist whose debut album, as I've been going through the debut album, it's an album where I've been reading up on that has gotten kind of some mixed reviews, mostly lukewarm, I'd say, at best, but I really enjoyed the album because I think it's a foreshadow of what is to come for this particular band, and I'm talking about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And the one ticket stub that I found is from June 11th, 2002, at what was then called the Tweeter Center in Mansfield, Mass. Most of us call it Great Woods. I think it's now the Xfinity Center, which was Comcast before the local cable provider. But this is the ticket stub that actually the whole ticket, because they scanned them back then too. The ticket price back then was $46 with a surcharge of $8.10. I'm guessing today you probably couldn't buy a beer and a t-shirt after ticket prices for that much, and for what this ticket price is here, but try to get that in focus and get to see where the seats were. But Brian Setzer opened with his trio, the Brian Setzer Trio, as you can see there, and they were on fire just like Tom Petty and company, and it was a great show. Such an amazing venue. It's about an hour and a half from me here in Massachusetts. I'm more towards the North Shore, southern New Hampshire border, so depending on traffic, it can take a while, but it's worth going down to that venue. Also saw Kiss there back in their farewell tour of '96, which was pretty cool. So before I get into the album review, I thought I'd share with you the few albums that I have of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And the first one is a Record Store Day album from, I don't see the date on here, but maybe I can find when it came out. Let me just check here on the copyright. I'm not seeing it, but the first one I have here is the Angel Dream, and I think it was last year that it came out, and this is an excellent album. I love the artwork on this cover, and really cool listening to, and the track listing. And so that's the first one I have, and I think I got all these in chronological order. This next album, recently I was organizing and cleaning up my collection. I forgot that I bought this album about a year ago, and didn't even open it until a couple of days ago, and it is the Finding Wildflowers alternate versions. And you can see the hype sticker there, along with the track listings on the back. I'll try to get that in there for you, but it's kind of hard to see. What's really cool about this one is that it comes with an insert with the liner notes and everything, and some artwork on the cover, kind of like a nice desert scene here, which I'm guessing that's Petty. It's supposed to be Petty right there. And the back here has some of the lyrics. and also on the inside as well. So very cool to have this. And the vinyl itself, I'll show you real quick, is on a kind of like a goldish color. So I'll probably spin this weekend and see how it sounds, because like I said, I forgot I had this in my collection until recently. Next I have Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Long After Dark. This always reminds me of the color red here, reminds me of the Bloodshot album for the Jay Giles Band, which is one of my favorite Jay Giles albums. And here's the back with the track listings. And next we have the album Damn the Torpedoes, which is a lot of fan favorites and one of my favorites. And again, a track listing. Up next we have You're Gonna Get It. And this isn't in too bad a shape. It's got a little ring wear there, I believe, but the album sounds great. Got the track listings right in there for you. And the topic of discussion for tonight is the debut, and this is one of the cleanest albums I've got in terms of any debut album and any Tom Petty album that I have. And just to show you how clean the copy is, it looks like it was cleaned well and well taken care of and very rarely played, so I'm happy to have that. And as you all know, out of the ashes of Mudcrutch, we had the Heartbreakers formed, and the backstory with Tom Petty getting into music was due to his meeting of Elvis Presley and the influence that he had on him. And I know that most of you who are Tom Petty fans probably know that he met Presley on the set of Follow That Dream. And I had forgotten this story, but I guess Tom Petty sold or traded his slingshot to a friend of his for a box of Elvis 45 records, which I think is a pretty good move on Petty's part. So I think he got the better end of the deal on that, and it's served him well down the road. So as you know, the album came out in November of 76, and we had a couple of great songs on there that became instant fan favorites and have stood the test of time, and I think will always be classics. We had Breakdown, which I believe, and I always get this confused with the track listings, and I think it's the second song on here. Yeah, it's the second song on here. That would have been a great opening track. Or the other big hit off of the album, American Girl. I don't know why they didn't put those as singles. I think those would have really helped out the album. But for singles, actually, I think they did have them. I apologize for that. They did have them for singles, but I would have had either American Girl opening the album or Breakdown opening the album and the other one closing it out. I think that would have helped out the album. But in addition to Breakdown and American Girl, you had Anything That Rocks, which Anything That's Rock and Roll, which was a single in the UK only, and I like that song. I know a lot of critics said it was kind of a basic run-of-the-mill kind of rock and roll song, but I still think it's got its charm to it, and I enjoy listening to it when it's on. And also we had Rockin' Around With You, which was the opening track to the album. Again, I really enjoyed that song, but it would have been better, I think, as a third or a fourth song in the lineup. And that was a German release only as well. So, and interesting that those two songs were not part of the U.S. release. But, anyways, what Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers were up against in terms of album releases in '76. It was a busy year for music, and another great year in the decade of the '70s in terms of music. I think it is the '70s in general, whether it was blues or classic rock or whatever, is the best decade for music. That's just my humble opinion. I know that it's shared by many. We had the palindrome of music of albums released in January of '76 by Rush, 2112, which was their fourth studio album. And I did listen to a couple of the tracks off of that album just to listen to the. I've been going through the albums that were released in the year of the debut releases, and just to refamiliarize myself with them, and listened to the Twilight Zone, and really enjoyed that. So I'm going to probably do a deep dive on Rush, and at least down the road I'll make a video of their debut album. Also in 1976, it was a busy year for Kiss. They released two albums. Their first one was in March of '76 with Destroyer, which was the first album that I really listened to with Kiss. And I remember one of the schools that I worked at, my first IT job was at an art school, and they were doing a tour during the summer. And during that tour, they came up to one of the floors that I was working on in the particular building with the classrooms in it. I was listening to the album on my phone, putting the classrooms back together after the maintenance crew had waxed the floors and whatnot. So I was rocking out to Destroyer and didn't even know there was a tour going through, and I heard a few people chuckle as they saw me rocking out and enjoying the tunes. So I always think of that when I listen to Destroyer, and thought that was pretty funny and wanted to share it with you. But so we had Destroyer, which had singles such as Shout It Out Loud, Flaming Youth, Detroit Rock City, and Beth. And then I know this next album is one of Gary's over at Physical Format Rock and Roll. This is one of his favorite bands. He introduced me to them in his UFO. They released No Heavy Petting in May of '76. And if I can read my writing here, I believe that was the first album where they had featured a keyboardist in terms of being a full-time keyboardist on the album. So that's pretty cool to hear. And Can You Roll Her and Highway Lady were the singles off of that one, and I think they were both Japanese single releases only. In May, we also had Aerosmith releasing their fourth studio album, Rocks, which is one of my favorites. My actual favorite one is Get Your Wings by Aerosmith. And they had Last Child, Home Tonight, and Back in the Saddle for the singles off of that one. And then you had Alice Cooper releasing his Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, which I don't think I knew that it was a continuation of Welcome to My Nightmare, since I really haven't done too much listening to of Alice Cooper, so I'm not really as knowledgeable on Alice Cooper as I should be. That one came out in June of '76. And then the second album released from Kiss in November was Rock and Roll Over, and another great album by Kiss, a solid finish for them, and another great year of music in general. And I can just imagine myself going to record store weekend after weekend picking up the latest album that was on the market, and spending a good chunk of my paycheck if I was old enough. Then I was only 1 year old when those albums all came out, so for the most part. Now, getting to the takeaway tracks for the debut album for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, I have about, let's see, four total, and one of them is more of a sentimental favorite. So the first one is one that I think is a great power ballad, and it really just has a great diverseness to the songwriting that the band has in their style of playing, and shows that they can really spread out in terms of what they want to play in this song. The Wild One Forever, I really like the music in that, and it almost has a Townsend-esque sound to it. I feel like that The Who could have pulled that one off if they did a cover of it, or it could have, I think, easily been an original one of theirs. If it sounds like something Townsend would have written, I think, maybe post Quadrophenia kind of thing, but definitely has some Townsend vibes there, at least I think. The next song I really enjoyed was Fooled Again. I don't like it. Listening to this one, I think, is really a slow burner. The band never really puts the pedal to the metal, if you will. They kind of get there, but not all the way, and they really leave you hanging and wanting them to just explode into some high octane like rhythm and just jam for a few minutes, but they tease you here and there, but they really don't give you that that moonshot kind of that, well, not moonshot, but that to the moon kind of rocket launch that you want to hear in this song, and you just keep waiting for the build up to happen. And like I said, they just pull it back a little bit, but still a great song. And then we have for one that is, I think, one of the more up tempo songs on here, one of the more fun ones, if you want to say that, more party type ones, is Hometown Blues. Like I said, it's an upbeat tempo that'll perk anyone's ears up and get you dancing and having a good time. So I never get tired of hearing the song Hometown Blues. And the last one I said, which may seem like a sellout, but this is a sentimental type of a favorite, and it is American Girl, the closing track. I mean, how can you not love the opening notes in that? And it's just a timeless classic. I think it's going to be a fan favorite for generations of Tom Petty fans not even born yet, and I think it'll be like the Jailhouse Rock type of song for Petty, and future generations will love it as much as we love it now. And I think it's just a great song. I remember having the greatest hits CD of Tom Petty, and my friends and I, just probably like a lot of you, played the heck out of that, and not sure what happened to it. I was looking for it but couldn't find it, but still a awesome album. We just listened to that song a lot, and many others on the album, but just a great time listening to it during the summer way back in the day. But I thought I couldn't do a review without having that in the favorite tracks on the album. So thank you so much for watching, and again, it's Friday 1st on a Saturday, featuring the Tom Petty debut album, and hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.